Good evening, Nick Inman here from VolumeProfileTrader.com on Tuesday evening, the 22nd of May. And the S&P, in my opinion, disappointed a bit today. We went up, we rallied higher, we made new highs, and then we struggled against resistance from 3 days prior. And I will show you that on an intraday chart in a second. One thing to note here is we are at the point of control for the year. I think you can look at these current lows, today's current lows in general, and look for short term a potential higher low off of this 521 bar, and you look for higher levels. However, you have a level to trade off of from the short side as well. Now, one thing I want to mention is this is not, and it just shows with today's price action, this is not a market for traders who have a time frame longer than 1 day. If you want to make money, that is. If you're holding overnight over the past three days or so, chances are you probably lost money, made a little more money. There was definitely no home run the past few days as far as holding overnight. Now, intraday, there's been a lot of opportunities. Today, less than the past few days, in my opinion. Maybe that's because I didn't have the best trading day in terms of capitalizing on opportunities. But I feel like the market, the strength that was sold into today, this afternoon, shows you where the market kind of is. And you need to be careful. If the market had a nice close today, then I would say, you continue to look for upside. But the fact that the market closed fairly weak shows you that you should be cautious. And, if you're day trading with success, continue doing that because that's working right now versus trying to trade stocks on a swing point standpoint. Yesterday, was buying stocks. It worked out. It paid off. Today, if the name I bought went into the red, I was selling. I didn't want to let a loss grow. And the reason why was because, I can still do okay if I'm not in that specific position that I'm trying to sell. Or I should say trying to get out of. I'll still be okay. If the market chooses to continue to go up, I can always buy it back. That's kind of my mindset right now. And I want to carry limited exposure in the markets. Just to show you, the euro, what is it showing you? It's showing you, we had a, 2-day bounce that really didn't even mean anything. The dollar, showing you, it's trying to push higher. And we're just going to have to see if it does exactly that. Hasn't made a new high yet, just like the euro hasn't made a new low, but it's worth watching. Gold has gotten spanked the last 2 days. So what we have so far is just after what was, I had a trade on gold last week that ended up being a really nice call spread on the GLD. Then you get today's price action. Gold's still weak, so you want to take caution there. Crude, not even really bouncing, just hovering along these lows. So I think it's you need to be careful if you continue to hold heavy longs. If you went into the close today net short, you should be sitting okay. Net long, I'd be a little more worried. So just pointing my kind of general observation there. So let's look at what's going on intraday. Oh, one other thing. This right here, email address. If you want to be a part of, or if you want to check out the trading room that I'm about to open, just let me know, and I will send you some type of information later on this week so you can be a part of that. So what I'm doing here, just bringing up a 30-minute chart of the S&P, and it goes out 10 days, so not even a big deal, right? I just want to cover, levels in the market right now, intra-week, I guess you could say. I'm not looking at any price action outside of this current range, as this is the most recent, it's the most fresh. It should be the best in terms of levels to trade off of. Now, I know people like to do pivots. Okay, I just put the pivots on there just to kind of show as an example. But I do use these intraday, especially the actual pivot level, which is this pink dotted line. But I'm not going to really focus on them as much as actual price action. So one thing to note, I'm going to zoom in a little more here. Back on last Thursday, we had a selling tail from 1321.75 up to 1324.50. What that means is between 9:30 and 10, price traded up in this range, and then from there on, price has not seen that level since. It was a rejection level. It traded there on Wednesday, opened there on Thursday, flushed from there, and so that's clearly resistance. So going into this morning, that was a level of interest in terms of a potential target to the upside. Similarly, in the morning, you had some levels. Overnight, we saw, and I'm going to bring up an overnight chart so you can see. Okay, I just want to say that I don't use, this isn't like the chart I use to day trade, so I wouldn't take too much account into what the indicators I use. However, I do use the Donchian channel, which is this red channel. I do use the MACD. I don't use this tricks. I don't even really know why it's up there. So how about we do that? So pretty much going into last night, what we had for the market going into this morning is what I'm trying to say. 9:30, let's see. So what we had Globex high, and we had Globex low. We were balancing overnight, and this is generally speaking the open. We were balancing overnight, nothing too much. We had a higher low, we had a higher high, so that's noteworthy. So we get into this morning, and we ended up having a higher low here. This higher low was against the intraday value area low. Okay, what I did was added added the volume profile charts just so you can see. So going into this morning, and this is already developed, so it's kind of in hindsight, but this was actually the intraday value area low. You also see we have some good volume here from the day prior. So we have a support level so long as price is supported. We actually had a nice reversal here and a continuation to the upside. News came out at 10, so it's hard to say that this was a buying opportunity, but actually it was, and it was a good one. And you could see the market ran up, and where did it run up to? You can see the congestion levels, which include overnight, up from last Thursday in the early morning. You can see value area high. So what was it? Well, let's find out. Okay, this was the resistance zones where that first half hour during the session on Thursday was complete rejection, and you can see on Thursday price came up to that level and was rejected and sold off from that level. So therefore, that is a level of interest. What happens? We get into those levels today, and we actually traded above it for a short period of time, but ultimately speaking, we get into it, we trade around, we trade above it, and then we trade below it, and what happens? We successfully slice through it, come back, test it, kind of fail, got into it a little bit, but had a pretty big reversal bar, failed, again reversal bar, and then eventually it flushes down and breaks key levels. So that's something to be noteworthy of. Where does it come down to? Let's focus on that next. 1307.50 was the low. So I'm going to focus back on with no overnight, and the point of control from Monday, 1307.75. Where was the low today? You got it. So that's another, you're just patiently waiting for the opportunity. And this is kind of what I was talking about with pivot points. Pivot point at the time, 1308.50. So right there, you have two key levels. You're looking for a reversal, and what do we get? Zooming in even more, coming down. You were getting, slight pullbacks and then flushes, continuations, and then what happens? We touch the point of control from the prior day, trade straight back up to the top of the channel. That's something that's rare, that hasn't happened in a while. And then we continue higher. You can see the trend, the momentum continues to push higher. These are the kind of trades that you look for, and you go against defined support resistance and you go with it. So really, I just wanted to kind of explain what goes on, with the day trading scenery, because that's really all that's working right now. And it's frustrating. And, as much as I want to give you trading opportunities to the long side, because that's what most people trade, they're just not there right now. And it's very short-term stuff right now. And if you're not experienced in that, it's tough. You'll lose money, I promise you. It took me... I remember when I first started, trading S&P futures, it took me at least 6 months before I wasn't consistently losing money on a weekly basis alone. And, finally you discipline yourself because you hate losing money, that you refuse to take trades that won't have a likelihood of working out. And you stick with the trades that work, and you find yourself doing okay and making money, especially in a volatile market like this. So really, that's all I really have to say for. Remember, send me an email if you want to be a part of the trading room, or if you want to check it out. Be careful to the long side. If you're not a quick trader, there's nothing wrong with that. But just realize this isn't your market right now. So take care, have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.